So we're going to open up to questions and answers now. If you have a question, just try to ask one question so we can get everyone to ask questions. If it happens that we've gone around and everyone's asked a question, go ahead and ask your second question, your third question. All right, go ahead.
I want to deal with sort of the philosophy, aside from the fact that he probably needed a financial advisor to help him with his money issues, but the fact that he would tear up things or not do things just for money, I think is very relevant today, because I think for energy, a lot of the technology exists, and the reason we don't have it is because they haven't figured out how to make profit from it. And so the idea of having it out there for everybody to use, I think there's so much from either Tesla or many other people working today. There was just a report about somebody who's made a humanless boat that can go out and clean oil spills. And he's put it online so that anybody can see it, add to it, improve it and whatever. So it seems like, it's too bad Tesla was not here for the computer. Yeah, I mean, to put those things out there and then to build on that, because with the profit motive, they will hold that up. They will hold this technology up from being done, I think.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah. And I think only profit that Tesla was he was interested in money that can finance his project. He never wanted to become a rich man or anything. He just lived for his work, and he was very eccentric, and he never.
That's why we don't know him very well.
So what concerned me about his scheme was the whole running the electricity through the crust in order to provide free energy. And I thought about this. My initial reaction was, yeah, it's great, everyone free. But then what I was thinking is the high power tension lines and the cause of cancer and radiation to people living near these electric high power lines. I was thinking, if he actually had put this scheme in place, perhaps,
we'd all be fried.
It wouldn't have been very good for the health of humanity. I wonder about that.
But he demonstrated that energy is totally safe, because he was holding the light bulb in his hands, and he had like high voltage electricity to his body, and nothing happened to him.
Yeah, but the high power tension line problem is a genetic change. It's a genetic change, a cellular change in the people. He wouldn't have been in a position to evaluate that over long term. I mean, high tension power lines have been considered safe for 40 years, and only now they're finding problems. So that's maybe something for the future, if it was from a medicine point of view. But it would be possible to send electricity all over the world for free, using the Earth crust and the ionosphere.
I'm curious about the transmission of electricity. Is that transmission through the air?
Yeah.
Right. So in that case, is it electricity making an electromagnetic field, which then induces an electric current at the other end? It's like electricity here, electromagnetic radiation, and then electricity induced at the other end.
No, I think I'm not an electric engineer, but as I understood, it's the same way as you use grid to transfer the electricity. Just that way you just use the crust and the ionosphere, you just need to be a high voltage of the current. So
it's like the sender and receiver. It's like TV with antenna. Yeah, the TV is electromagnetic radiation.
These sorry. Yeah, the TV is just electromagnetic wave, right? That then gets converted. So I think something like that, but still, it seems like there is some kind of type of grid to the ionosphere, and also something related to the Earth that he was exploiting. But it's very difficult to say what exactly is that.
Right. I mean, part of it I thought was involving the Earth as a transmitter.
Maybe, or I'm not sure how would the Earth, because you mentioned, be used as some sort of unstoppable dynamo that would just keep using what forces?
As I understand, he would use the Earth rotation, and those are this kind of electrical engineering stuff. So I'm not sure how actually, but I just like the idea. And,
Andrew, did you have a question?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, so one reason we talk about why a lot of his inventions weren't realized is because they're difficult to profit from. But a lot of these inventions, it seems like, would be very interesting to governments and corporations. So why do you think a lot of those have remained unfulfilled, or maybe some of them secretly have been, or what do you think?
yeah, so as you say, maybe they are being fulfilled, but secretly. And but the main reason they are not fulfilled is a profit that cannot be done. It's not like, as the guys say, if I can give energy for free anybody, where I'm gonna put a meter. So
Well, also Tesla is dead. I mean, is there anyone following up his science?
yeah, there's a lot of his followers all over the world, but
For descendants who want to make money from it.
And the thing is that a lot of these materials were taken from the hotel he was sitting, and everything is gone by the American
Yeah,
government.
because you know
the
that
FBI.
kind of guy was kind of dangerous, you know, because if I offer you a free energy, you know, the other guys who are producing energy, they are totally, you know, they are doomed, you know, they are done. It's so like, for example, you have a problem now like with this Middle East and so on, you know, maybe you can produce a natural energy or something, you know, you can use any other sources of energy, but you don't do it because all those corporation, big companies, they will be done, you know, because of course, and that involves, you know, not only one company, that's also all those corporations, because you have a military staff and all the.
But you don't think a corporation could figure out a way to profit off some of this stuff?
Yeah, sure, but you know, the easiest way is to profit from something. For example, it's totally different area, but like the prices of coffee, you know, if they have like too much coffee, they just throw it away. That's what that's, you know, just if you get that kind of invention which provides you free energy, then you have to think how to profit from that. But if the invention by itself, it's impossible to profit it because it's just for free. So as he said, I'm going to put a meter, you know, it's impossible. So I just plug the technology, I just take it and I'm hiding it.
well, maybe it's
That's all.
developed secretly.
I develop for myself, right? I just do it for myself, and other guys have to pay for my other company, right? It's probably
At the
simplest
same
way.
time, though, don't idealize, because what I know of it, which, you know, I'm not an engineer either, but I have had a little experience. And the reason that he couldn't transmit electricity wirelessly, right, through the air and these kinds of ideas is simply that theoretically it wasn't possible. He had no theoretical grounding for the claims that he hoped that he could make. He had ideas, right?
He actually
But-
did.
But he didn't have a theory that would prove it in the end, especially for that particular idea. I'm not saying it can't be done,
No,
but
but
that's
he
the
actually
problem.
did an
That's why it's not
experiment.
done.
He sent the electricity on 40 kilometers radius. So it just a scalability problem. He needs to do it with a bigger tower. So
What
that's
I read was that his notes were not quite complete, that it was not possible to reproduce his experiments without him, because he always didn't write down the complete thing. I don't know if this is true. This is what I read, and this
because
is why
as he
it's
was saying,
difficult
he
to
was like
reproduce his
to
experiments.
use his brain. He was like to just think. Like he was a close person, and he was just thinking inside of his brain. He was developing the whole machine, the whole new pattern inside, and then he just do the
So
final.
you didn't need to write it all
Yeah.
down, but then
That's
without
what
him,
he
you
said.
can't do it then.
Marko, just to maybe in some part, I'm not sure if you have any information about his internal life, his spiritual life and things like that. He's given interviews where he was talking about mystical stuff with journalists and stuff, but 100 years ago. So I'm not sure if do you have anything to say about that?
If like he was saying that he's I mean, he's been taught to read Bible, and he was clearing his mind through Bible, and that would give him the mental power to do all these experiments and stuff. That's what I read somewhere, like one of his quotes. But I don't know about any mystical. If the Bible can refer as mystical.
Some very interesting stuff that was talking about yoga and Eastern mysticism as well, including Christianity.
You have to be careful with those interviews because there is loads inaccurate.
Oh yeah.
Because
with
sometimes they quote
references.
things that were not actually.
Sure.
Like for example, his comments on Einstein's theory, which like the terms were actually applied later. So it's not possible that Tesla could use those terms at that time. So I think some of the interviews are made up, to be honest. We have to be careful with the sourcing on it.
Totally. There's a lot of misinformation about Tesla.
Yeah.
A lot of mystification of his personality.
That's only about Tesla.
Well, I have a question. What do you believe is the most, now that we're in the space or information age, what do you believe is the most important thing we can take from Tesla's work?
Make sure your contract is enforceable.
The most important thing we can take, we can get we can see his enthusiasm in how he was willing to do anything that is good for the mankind, no matter the profit, no matter the money, and we can just try to maybe finish those patents that are not done. And he had a lot of ideas, a lot of just stuff that he was thinking about and write them down that can be produced with today's technology, like anti-gravity aircraft that and a lot of stuff. He theorized a lot about a lot of stuff that he was planning to make, but he didn't have time in his lifetime. So I think we can just try to continue.
Yeah, I just want to add, except what we don't probably really understand because we don't have the knowledge or we're still far from some, I don't know, if the guy had open mind and he was like receiving information for the so-called space. I mean, he developed things we probably still don't understand, but the very first one, the Niagara Falls hydropower plant, is still something really important, and actually we could start like before, like in the very beginning. I just recently saw that in Turkey they're developing really, really big projects, but it's like, I don't know, 100 years after everything. I mean, we first developed other kinds of energy. We became dependent. Everything's about this, to lock systems, to lock the consumers, because I don't know, we should like make crazy money about it. So.
On the same note, there is a lot of really interesting and very pragmatic energy development these days in wind and solar, and even, they talk about wave and ocean power that they're going to harness, and that these will be done. Do you think that Tesla, just more pragmatically, has probably added to those developments?
Yeah, sure. Those are more cleaner sources of energy, and but I think Tesla was focused on sending that energy to all over the world. It was not his point to. It was at one point, but he was mostly focusing to send that energy to anywhere in the world, and he accomplished that by but sure, yeah, that's one of the things that humanity should work on it now, the clean sources of energy.
It looks like more playing with the energy instead of trying to create it.
Magician.
Like making unbelievable things with energy. I mean, that actually could, for sure, like make better living for everybody. I watched a movie. I was watching the Zeitgeist movie yesterday, like moving forward. And I think a lot of things are kind of ideas that we had. I mean, why Tesla was not recognized and why those people from Zeitgeist movement. It's like the director, the so-called director, I assume, I don't remember his name. It's like 30 years ago or something like this. Like in '76, he made a prediction like what happens and where we're going and how we should stop this and why. And nobody actually takes those things in serious and nobody will change the, I mean, looks like it's pretty difficult to reverse. It's like a current. We create a current like in a river, it's pretty difficult to reverse the current.
Until there's a crisis.
Yeah, but we still don't know, like, yeah, maybe. If the work out, maybe a certain way.
Yeah, but if the crisis is too slow moving, it's still hard. Because, I mean, obviously we're in a crisis with ecologically, global warming, etc. But in such a slow moving crisis and such a big problem that everyone goes, well, it's not happening so soon, it's okay, we'll deal with it. So I think it's a sharp crisis is the thing that you need to change a current.
So it's going to see what happens and take a step at some point.
Have any more questions?
Can I offer a personal aside? I remember something I read about Tesla. I think it must be related to your earthquake machine that you have listed here. He claimed that 12 people standing on top of a building, if they like clasped hands and then moved with a certain movement and rhythm, that they could destroy the building.
Oh, yeah.
And
That would be really cool.
yeah, he claimed that was true.
For the people in the building, you know?
What do you do when it collapses?
But
Maybe a flying machine.
but anyway, just to
The
finish,
frequency of the...
I just remember years ago when I was living in San Francisco, I was walking around in the city and I had an umbrella that was like hanging from a string that I was carrying, and I just noticed that as I walked, sometimes the umbrella would swing like really rhythmically just as I was walking. And then other times with just a turn or a move, the umbrella would start jumping wildly and spinning around as I walked and I wasn't doing anything with it as far as I knew. And I just thought, he was right. Just with some kind of rhythmic movement, you can make something really move out of control. So
We know that.
think about him.
We know that for sure at least from wind and wave oscillation from the Tacoma Narrows Bridge.
Yes.
Right.
It would take a lot of people moving perfectly in synchronization to get that going. But
If you're talking about 12 people standing on top of a building, you have the problem of conservation of energy. The amount of energy needed to destroy a building. However, if you stamp your foot, however focused it is, it's still only a certain number of energy. No, well, a certain number of joules of energy.
So in Tacoma Narrows case, it was that the wind kept providing enough energy to keep the
Well,
thing in motion.
the wind is quite energetic.
Yeah.
The wind has quite a lot of energy in it, and you can use that energy, but you can't, and you can use it more or less efficiency. You can get more of it, and maybe you can focus that energy. But to bring down a building.
But I don't think it's about joules, it's about resonance, right? When two vibrations match and then there will be this amplitude can happen. I forgot the physics about it, but it was a high school thing. But I remember my teacher said that it's forbidden for soldiers to march across a bridge.
Did it happen with the
Because they will create this type of
Yeah.
thing that might disrupt the...
This happened with the Millennium Bridge in London. When the Millennium Bridge footbridge was built, they had everyone, sort of before they opened the gates, the first day it was open, everyone was lined up in front of it, they opened the gates, everyone started walking together, they were all walking in unison, and people felt it shaking. Now, this was just that everyone was doing it at the same time. It wasn't energy coming from anywhere, it was just all in sequence. Actually, it wasn't dangerous at all, but it made people feel uncomfortable. And actually, it wouldn't have happened in normal circumstances because they wouldn't have all been walking in the same direction at the same time. But it was just people doing it at the same time, like that. Quite nothing that remarkable.
I guess for the building, it would really depend on the plasticity or the elasticity of the building. If it's a concrete building, I imagine it would be pretty hard to shake down. But if it had a pretty weak base.
I think
I
the
imagine
problem of
the more
energy.
rigid it is, the easier it would be.
I suppose it maybe matters whether you're saying that the people stamping on it, whether their energy is bringing it down, or whether they are releasing an energy. I mean, you can stamp on a switch and that could blow something up. Because you're stamping on it, stamping on a switch which causes the explosion, but you're not providing the energy, you're causing the closing the circuit. Likewise, yeah, it could be the mass of the building. The building has a mass, and it'll be the mass of the building that's pulling it down, not the, you would just be releasing it, so that could make sense.
I hope those inventions are not going to be made, those earthquake machines with death rays. But useful inventions, I hope in the future somebody will work on them.
We have about 4 more minutes if anyone has any more questions. I had one more question. What is a community or a society, what can we do as a community or society to further his work?
What I think is that we can finance new Teslas, new young scientists who can maybe continue his work.
Yeah, but the worst thing is still like what what you spoke about, the control of everything. Because I don't know, do you heard about, for sure, maybe you know about the program obsolescence of the objects? Like all those guys, like engineers, are really smart guys. In the very beginning, they're passionate about creating something which is staying for a long time. And the first electric bulb or some of the first one, like they're staying for 100 years. But then the guys producing those materials are like, okay, what you're doing, it's useless if we like make for everybody and then stay for hundreds of years. So it's they're gonna like calculate and they're gonna make specific studies. They're gonna spend like crazy time doing those things, like make them obsolete. Like any kind of machines today, your computer battery, your phone battery, your MP3, everything is like staying for a certain amount of time. Like my iPod or my, no matter, 5 years, boom, one day it just stopped. No particular reason. The battery was like running out. And yeah, I mean, you can for sure finance those people, but business ethics are like,
Business.
you should start with like something bigger than just finance smart people. I think there's a lot of inventions like cars running on water and blah blah and
It's all
whatever.
out there. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually two separate people figured out how to make a car run on water. They've done it already.
35 years ago.
They're continually being blocked, and finally they're like, fuck it, and they just put it up on the internet because they're so unable to get this car to be produced. But it's
Well,
already working. It's
Water is pretty dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous to make cars running on water.
Oh, you mean the separation of...
No, I
That's
mean,
that was the excuse. They said
we
it's too
from-
dangerous to produce the water.
Yeah.
Dangerous like...
Dangerous
Or
like,
dangerous to
no.
the economy, or
Dangerous to water, like you prefer to drink water,
Oh.
not to drive your car.
So it doesn't work on solar.
Now it's cheap, and it's still it's not so cheap. If you
And
go
it's
buy
not
a,
so cheap either, right? It's
if you
more-
go buy a bottle of mineral water, it's not so
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. We claim this, but maybe other sources are like. My opinion is everything should be changed, but
Or as Andrew was saying, that maybe the company should learn how to profit from the new technologies. If we manage to send electricity all over the world for free, then the new technology we made, maybe they should learn to make profit from the new technology.
no, the biggest problem is profit making. Who is making profit? Do you make profit? No. You just work to pay small things like everyday livings. Making money is particularly like stupid. I mean, you work for someone who is, this could be like money, that could be so fucking important. I mean, I'm sorry that I became so passionate. But yeah, but there's no the face of, I don't know who, and it's not like 100 or 500 or 1,000, and nobody tells you that this is so important. I mean, I don't see the difference between 1,000 NTs and this. I mean, it's paper. The other one is more specific, but.
Well, the 1,000 NT is guaranteed by a bank. It's a debt quantity that the bank is guaranteed, and no one has guaranteed the debt quantity of that piece of paper. What it is that the 1,000 NT represents that the bank will hold that debt. And this paper, if you wrote on an IOU then to, say, anyone here, we would know that you would be good for the debt. And so, but only within this narrow range of people would that debt be good. But a bank debt, especially if you have a bank of the United States where almost everyone has agreed that this bank is worth the debt, that's why we trust it.
Well, it could work if everybody would own his money, and this bank still can guarantee it. I believe in it.
Well, see, obviously not. Obviously not. Obviously, the system is a problem. I agree with you that there should be another system. In fact, there's something called the Ripple monetary system, which I've been looking into, which is trying to do a net-based currency where all the debt is distributed through a network, just like information is distributed through the
Maybe you're giving
internet.
a speech on that.
I don't know anything except what I just read last night. But it's a really interesting thing to look at. Yeah.
I mean, CNN got this project about modern slavery. I think it's called Economy. They try to like look for people working like illegally and held by people. I think we're all like modern slavery. But yeah, but it's create dreams, create desires, and follow your dreams, and then work for it. And they give you this guarantee things, and you just go and buy things that probably you don't really need.
Okay, we're out of time, but I want to say thank you to Marko, and thank you to all of you for coming.